Alright, how's it going, Curtis Forum? I'm going to do a little video on how to make a reptile incubator out of a wine cooler. So the fridge I picked was a Visani VT60 is the model. And it's got quite a bit of room on the inside. It's got a thermometer built in. I'm going to take out all the internals because we're not going to be needing those. It did not come with an internal fan, so I have ordered 4 of the CPU fans, and they're on the way. So first off, we're going to start by tearing out the back and taking all the internals out. Alright, so to take the back off, all you're going to need is a Phillips head screwdriver. We're using a drill just to make it a little bit quicker. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the compressor out. There we go. Pull that bad boy on out of there. That thing alone weighs probably 10-15 pounds. Alright, next, I'm going to see what this has going on with it. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this stuff right out and see what I can do. Easy as that. So now let's take this fan out, just 2 little Phillips head screws. Oh, it looks like there's 2 screws on the bottom. Alright, I'm going to flip this over. Easy as that. Alright, I've flipped it around, and now I'm going to go ahead and take the cooling plate out of the back and put in the heat tape. There's the thermometer coming right through. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to take out that condensation tray. Alright, so here's my heat tape. Oh, that's nice. It comes with some metal tape. So these connections are already taped on. So yeah, I don't want to take these off, but I figure it's probably not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these. Alright, so there's the heat tape. I thought it was a lot more, but we'll see, I guess. Alright, so I'm just going to run this wire straight through that hole in the back. Can you see it? Yeah. Okay, so that's where the coil is coming through for the cooler. And then I'm going to go ahead and strip these wires and then hook up that flex watt. Just take the flex watt and put it in the same spot as it was last time. And I am going to wrap these with electrical tape. Alright, so that's that. I covered both of the clips here where they connect front and back. So now, I'm just going to mount that up with that metal tape that they gave me. One thing I forgot to mention was plugging the holes that were from the screws beforehand. is probably a good idea, just because there's going to be so much humidity in there. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. Alright, so I just found out, because I was trying to get this fan here to work, and I think I found out the reason the guy was selling the fridge. One of the alligator clips inside this little box here, which has all the electronics and the circuit board and stuff in it, was unplugged. And as soon as I plugged that back in, the fan started turning on, which in turn cooled the radiator and so on. So, pretty stoked on that. So, I'm not going to use the CPU fans. I'm just going to go ahead and use this one here, because I'll plug it in. It's super quiet, and it's got a pretty good airflow behind it. So I'm just going to mount that on the inside right against the wall and have that blowing around on the inside. So I'm going to finish wiring all up this here. I'm going to solder this, and alright, now that I've decided to use that fan from the fridge already, I'm going to go ahead and take this quick connect where the fan hooks up and add some electrical wire to lengthen it, so I can just run this cord directly into the fridge. So after we soldered, now we can slide the shrink wrap tubing over it and just heat that up, and it shrinks right down to size. Good protective covering. And that's all good. So now to the other end. Alright, so now that I've wired the wires coming out of the back of the fridge, I have to wire them back up to this quick disconnect. So I just put the cords right through where the thermostat probe is going to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and solder those up now, and then mount the fan. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and mount the fan since I've got everything wired. So that's mounted up there, as you can see. And then blowing right over top of the flex watt. Alright, so I've decided to use an air pump with an air stone hooked into a water reservoir in the bottom of the incubator to use for the humidity. And I'm just going to wire the air pump right up to where the condenser was hooked up, so all the electronics will be on as soon as you plug in the cord for the incubator. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and use the hardware from the condenser. So easy as that. So now you guys can see that the pump is mounted right there. I'm going to go to the other side and drill a hole right through here so that hose can go up there, and then the air stone will be right in the front. So. Actually, I'm just going to drill it straight through the back. Feed this right through. Now I'm just going to tidy up all these wires here and put the back on and put a hole in for the probe through the back so I can take it in and out, and we should be all set. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. So what you see here is the probe cord. I just went ahead and drilled a hole in the back plate and just put it right through where all the other cords are going through for the fan, just so I didn't have to put another hole in the insulation. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this back. Alright, so after I put that back panel on, I was pretty much done. Now all I've got to do is run the wires to the thermostat, and I'm going to put this little valve in here so when the air stone, if for some reason it stops, it won't come back into the pump in the back and have electrical problems. So all you got to do to put this in is just cut the tubing, stick this in on one, and then stick this in on the other. So it's just like an inline stopper valve. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the air stone on. Hooks right on there. Set that in. Go ahead and fill that up with water. And I guess we can put the shelves in. Alright, well, as you can see, I just plugged it in, and that valve was cutting off a lot of the airflow to the air stone. So I just went ahead and took it off. I'm going to go ahead and try to find another one. But for right now, you can see it's working pretty well. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. So you can see how that there's bubbling up quite a bit, and hopefully that's going to keep up the humidity inside the incubator pretty well. Alright, so here's the incubator. It's been running for I don't know, probably 30 minutes or so, and it's right at 89.6. The thermostat that is hooked up with it saying it's 91. And my probe is reading 90. So that's alright. I mean, we'll work with it a little bit and see what's going on, but I'm going to throw a hydrometer in there and see what the humidity's at, but it looks to be doing pretty good. Fans running, but that's it. The only thing I might change is taking the thermostat that's connected to the internal controls and just putting it into the air instead of against the wall, because it's actually against the wall that the flex watt's against, so that's probably why it's reading 91. And other than that, it turned out pretty well. There was a little bit of rattling going on when I hooked up the air compressor in the back, but I dampened that with some towels, and all was good. So that's how you do an incubator. If you have any questions, just ask. And if you keep short-tailed pythons or blood pythons, check out curtisforum.org. Place is the bomb. And that's pretty much it. Alright, thanks for watching.